Hello, and welcome. Welcome once again to another edition of AMB Animation Livestream. These free AMB lectures on YouTube are brought to you by the AMB Animation Real Animator Training Library, the best place to learn hand-drawn animation out there. Right, now, what are we going to do today? Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. There is, I was looking through the Real Animator Growth, Development and Progress group, and I'm going to be mentioning a couple of posts in here a bit later on, but I'm going to begin with my feature topic, which is sometimes based on some of the posts in here. And there has been a post here by an Amberly Ferrul, who's a library member. Now, Amberly is currently attending a college studying animation, I think. She says, "Are animatics fine to post here? This is nothing special, but one of my classes wants us to make an animated short that's at least 30 seconds. So here's my take on Red Riding Hood when she bumps into Baba Yaga's chicken hut." Okay, I don't quite get what Baba Yaga's chicken hut is, but so she's posted this animatic here. Now, I'm just getting slightly distracted because I'm trying this new YouTube live streaming and it's giving me lots of announcements, so you'll have to bear with me. So what she's got here is she's got a rough animatic, and I briefly touched on this when I did this stream about Yosemite Sam. I briefly had a chat with her, and she's saying like, oh, she's got to get it done quick, and because I was talking to her about storyboard, and I don't know. It's not for me to say whether I think her college are teaching her the right way or the wrong way or this and that. But I feel that I'm going to take this as an opportunity not just to guide Amberly, but to guide all of you guys, because I've been a lot of you come to me to learn animation, but I've been predominantly, for the past 10 years, I've been working in storyboard and animation direction before I quit the industry, actually. And the last project, which I probably am not going to be going back to, was an animation director and lead story artist on a feature film. There's a reason I'm not on that anymore. As details come out and I'm able to talk about it, I'll share that with you. But what that means is you guys get more time with me doing these things and sharing these skills. And I figured what I tried to tell Amberly was not to overlook storyboard. Storyboard is the reason we all do animation. It's the reason we want to tell stories, above everything. We get carried away, especially Real Animator Training people, because that's what Real Animator Training is all about. It's getting you to be great animators, okay? Not great filmmakers, great animators. Okay, so that's what the library's all about. So yes, we all get focused on, what halves are and what thirds are, and the 12 laws and how to technically animate a character nicely. That's all good stuff. But ultimately, when you're trying to do stuff like this, what they're trying to tell her, in my opinion, if they're telling her to do a 30-second project, in my opinion, that should be the whole. That should be, especially for a student, a beginner, that should be the whole year, in my opinion, because there's just so much going on. There's so much going on. So to try and give them deadlines or this and that, I don't know. That's their curriculum. As I said, it's not for me to criticize. It's not for me to say how they should be doing it. But this is my space, and I'm going to be telling you how I recommend she should be doing it. Now, because of my experience, I'm just going to do a couple of live streams for you, probably a series of streams, and we're going to make a short animatic together. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Amberly's example. Me and her have got a lot in common there, A and B. And I'm going to interpret it in the way that I would interpret it. And as I said, I want to involve you all and give you that professional feeling, as if we're all professionals together in the industry. So I'm going to talk you through how to approach these kind of things in a quick way. And obviously these aren't going to be Real Animator Training Library quality lectures. That's why I'm going to leave them up on YouTube. I'm just going to give them to anybody who wants to learn. So you can all apply this to your own thing. I know there's a lot of people on YouTube that aren't interested in learning how to be great animators. You're going to want to make your short films no matter what. So let's give you an insight on how you can try and approach making your short films in a professional manner. Because animation is a hobby for a lot of people. It's not a serious thing, and you want to you just want to binge watch videos. Probably those kind of people think I'm probably talking too much right now and have probably left saying this is boring. But I'm going to leave this up for them just in case somebody recommends it to them and they come back. And a lot of my Real Animator Training people can get a feel into it as well. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus a lot on pre-production, okay? And just how much richer a storyboard can be if you actually sit down and think, okay? Just like I was saying, a lot of people might have left this stream thinking, boring, no drawing, he's just talking, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you just immediately start drawing and you don't sit down and actually think, I mean really think, and really sit down and get things in your head clear and definite, you're going to find that the process is going to speed up tenfold when you start animating and making that little animatic. So we're 6 minutes in. That's my kind of little introduction. Let's go and look at the chat and see who's online and say hello. Zentron, how you doing? Eric, how are you? Twiggy, Travis, the Insanimate, watching an anatomy library lesson in A and B begins. Awesome. See, Travis is somebody who I've worked with personally, because he was an inner circle member, and he has been making his own short film, so he's going to know exactly what I'm going to be saying in all this, because I've been kind of helping Travis get through that. But I didn't help him with his characters and those kind of things. He kind of winged that on his own, so fair play to him on that. Undead Robert Gio, how are you doing? Roberta Gio, sorry, excuse me. I was looking at the beautiful thumbnail and thinking, Robert, I've obviously given myself away looking at the thumbnail. Zentron, hey peeps, how are you? Demonstrate Studios, what do you specialize as an artist? There you go. Travis says it. Storyboard and animation. Okay, Deruji, how are you doing? Yanis Akau the Warrior, comment chart, Vietnam flashback. Hello, your method has helped me understand eye placement and drawing heads from different angles. That's a great pleasure, Liku Hope. I'm really grateful that I've been able to do that. The hair on my characters is still a nightmare. I need to watch more. Okay, well, watch today's course, because that's exactly what we're going to be doing. The first thing I'm going to get out of the way is the thing everybody jumps to and is excited about. Is character, okay? Character. We're going to design a Red Riding Hood, okay? We're going to design a Red Riding Hood, and I'm going to show you how we're going to design it relatively quickly with just a little bit of research, because research is very, very important. So I'm just going to rush through this, okay? I'm going to show you that even a little bit of research, even like one image, if you're that raring to go, even a little bit of research will help you. So let's do that. And plus also, because I've got a lot of experience under my belt, it's going to happen quite quick. But let's not worry about that. Let's just take it off value. Right, I'm going to find this image that I have. I'm going to bring this in. So I found this image online. I believe it's old and I can use it in the stream. If the stream gets flagged and taken down because I've shown this image and I don't own it, well, I guess that's something that you're all going to miss, this stream. But anyway, so I think it's good to share this particular image with you, because this is This is the thing that I'm going to be using as my research. And of course, one of the first things I did was I went on Wikipedia and read the history of Red Riding Hood. It's important to just have a little bit of history rather than just going to what we consciously are aware of. Because when we're consciously aware of something, this story has been changed and shifted and whatever around this. So we need to really think. And that's what led me to find this image. Red Riding Hood was a sort of Middle Ages Italian story, folk story dating. I mean, the concept was around Italy, 10th century. 10th century. So this is all very important stuff. To know before we start, because we need to know what we're looking for: costume, environments, things like that, if we want to go the traditional route. There was also a French film, a French adaptation, which became the version of it. And then, of course, as we know, after that, the Brothers Grimm, and then, all sorts of things from erotic adaptations and Tex Avery and all kinds of adaptations have taken it to many places, and we've had our own little thing. Now I'm going to play it relatively straight. I'm going to play it relatively straight so we can be quick. We can be quick and just get through this whole process in a very efficient manner. So let's do that. So this is the image that I'm going to be working from. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be just to be quick, I'm going to be basing the character on a design of my stepdaughter, because it's just a face that I know, and it's something that I can turn out pretty quick. But it doesn't matter about faces, because what you need to understand before anything is we need to understand when designing a character. If I bring this image in here again, let me just bring it in here again. We need to look at the silhouette of that hood. And we need to think about how we're going to depict this character in silhouette. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to start making shapes. I'm going to start making these kind of shapes. I'm seeing an arrow here. I'm thinking, well, here's an arrow. I'm thinking, so I'm immediately starting to think about what can I do. This is kind of nice. And then she can have little feet at the bottom there. I'm thinking about that. Let's see if we can kind of change that. Let's see what we can do. Let's make it more rounded. Well, I'm not liking that, because that's obviously looking like something that I don't want it to look like. So this is something we need to, you see, when we're designing characters, we need to be super, super careful with, because sometimes when you don't know about silhouette and you haven't learned about silhouette, you need to think about, well, and you work really hard on something, but then it comes out with something quite nasty or suggestive, and then you're gonna have a lot of mockery and all kinds of things that you weren't kind of expecting when you were doing that. So I'm going to look at that. Now, how can I, this is giving me that sort of effect. Now, if I put something here like that, that's not helping it. So I'm going to maybe put it up the side there. That's interesting. So I want to try and get this shape as appealing as I can, and I want it to start looking like a person. But I want to kind of keep this quality into it. Right. So there we go. This is something that I'm thinking is a lot more interesting. It's not too, it's a little bit more feminine. It's less, how shall I put it, phallic, and it's looking a lot more like something that I could call an appealing shape. Now this is something I do, okay? This is something I do. Not everybody does it. They're just happy with shapes. I tell you what, I want to speed through this lesson quickly, okay? You could spend, like, ideally, what you really should do, but I'm not doing it because of the sake of this stream. That's why this is not a course, okay? This is not a real animator training course. I will be in the future making training courses on how to make films properly. This is just a quick thing. I think I'm going to do that. That's nice. That's nice. What you really should do is if you're really serious about character design, right? Really serious, you need to really identify her personality first. Her personality first. And then you want to kind of convey that in the silhouette. Okay? Now I'm looking for something appealing and something, a person in a hood. Okay? That's what I'm doing at the moment. But we really, this could take a couple of days, okay? About deciding about the character's silhouette. Okay? So this is not something to overlook. I'm speeding through this because I'm wanting to create a nice informative lecture, and sort of race through it and give you all ideas so you can get going and start to do something interesting with it. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to make that silhouette look a little bit more like a person there. Right, so what I am going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to imagine my person inside there. Okay. And see how that works. Maybe she's got her little basket. She's holding a basket there. So I'm going to come in here and imagine my person in here. It's going to be I would say anywhere between 10 to 13, 14-year-old, I would say. That kind of bracket. That's what I'm going for here. So still very young. So I'm going to think about that. Okay. So now, so she's probably going to be hidden in there. Okay. So what can I do to make this interesting? What can I do to make this interesting? Well, I would think this is where I come in the personality trait. I mean, I'm just going to make this up on the spot. I had thought a little bit about this beforehand, so I have done some lecture preparation. But to me, that's it's almost like making it up on the spot because it's just quick. It's just, oh, what can we do? We can do this. I know we'll do this. That's a good idea. So I think what we can do is we could give her say that she's got some magical qualities, and she was from a race of people that were they were star children, okay? Star children, star child, or something magical, something hidden in there like that, okay? So, well, let's just say that. So this gives you adds some new dimension to the character and some other sort of thing that'll kind of we'll be able to throw in there. So how do we do that? We can put it as patterns on her garments, or so we can make her like a typical caricatured, I'm a wizard, yay, But we're not going to do that. What I think it will be nice is if around the character's face, okay, the hood shape, okay, which comes here, maybe I could make this like a star, okay? Maybe I could make the hood shape like a star. Okay, and that was the one little bit of idea that I had before I started the stream. It's looking a bit stupid, okay, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. So we'll maybe make that look like a star, and that's a little animation consistency trick for people as well. If you've got a certain kind of model to the hood. So now I'm looking at this and I'm kind of thinking, what can we do here like this? Maybe we can hide a star in there or something like that. Okay, something like that. We can hide a star in her head like that. So now I'm going to start cutting into this silhouette. Okay, so then maybe little hands are going to be here. Her dress is going to be in here like this, like that. So you see I start cutting into the silhouette and we can start seeing what we're getting out of this thing. Okay, so this is the first thing that we need to think about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly make all of this into a light gray for me, and I'm going to leave that at the side as I start to play and draw. With my character, and we're going to see what we can get. I'm just going to have a look at the chat to see who's arrived. You will see Lexi Del Ro what I'm drawing. I tell you what, Liku Hope, when you come to Real Animator Training, okay, and you're asking me what my opinion is of Klaus, okay, here's my advice to all of you, okay. There are watchers and there are doers, okay. Okay, and how much of your time do you spend not only watching, but then thinking and wondering and asking about what you're watching, than actually doing your own ideas, your own projects, without, again, watching this and bringing it into this, okay? So that's what I think about Klaus. Right, now, we are going to go on to start with our idea on this character that we've got. So I'm going to start with a let's start with a pose. I'm just going to make up a pose of a kid kind of with her little basket like this. I just like to try and give, as I said, one of the things that I'm trying to do with my YouTube channel now, especially when I'm putting free content, is I want to give you all a professional mentality. I want you to all feel like professionals. You're all interacting with an industry veteran of 20 years, okay? And rather than all the time telling you that, I'm just going to say, okay, well, if you're talking to me, we're going to approach things in a professional manner, okay? We're going to think like professionals. If you want to become a professional, if you want to have your work to be a little bit more professional than what it is, then you've got to kind of like change something. And more often than not, the thing that you need to change is your thought pattern, the way you think. So when certain questions get asked to me, the kind of responses that I'm going to give you are going to be very different, okay, to the typical let's all have a chat. And because quite frankly, I'm in my early 40s, and I really I'm done. I'm done with watching stuff. I don't care what it is, how good it is. It might be the best thing in the world, but I'm done with it. This is my time. This is my time to create, my time to enjoy what I'm creating. I'm done with being a watcher. And if I can inspire other people to get on and be done with being a watcher and start being doers, it took me till my 40s, then I'm going to share that ideology with people. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just immediately roughing out an idea silhouette for a pose, okay? So she's going to be holding her basket, okay? And so I'm very quickly kind of roughing out my silhouette for that. Now I'm going to give her hair. Now this hair might change. So I'm going to think what she looks like without her Red Riding Hood cape first. And then I'm going to try and put that Red Riding Hood cape on her. It's important we do this, okay? Because the character is going to be in various stages in the film. So I want to kind of have that childlike silhouette, innocent childlike silhouette happening as we're going along. So you see I'm working quite fast here. So what I'm going to do now is I've got my initial silhouette pass. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just, as I said, I'm going to draw a generic kind of character design of my stepdaughter, okay, who looks a lot like her mother. Some of you might see the character that I've done in my AMB videos many times, and it's a female character. It's based on my wife, so it's quite simple for me to just translate that into a little girl, because it looks, my stepdaughter looks a lot like her mother. Right, so we are going to have the eyes coming in here. Again, I'm not caring too much about the face. I'm just thinking about the expression just a little bit, because not too much. And I'm going to keep the hair quite simple, because it's going to be hidden behind the hood anyway. So my stepdaughter's got rather big bushy hair. She's got a kind of Italian vibe to her, my stepdaughter. She's got this beautiful kind of olive colored skin, and these very, very thick eyebrows. Okay, so I'm just going to have something like that. Okay, now I'm going to think about the silhouette a little bit. Okay, so we're going to have this. Let's think about this. Okay, I'm not caring too much about construction or how accurate it is. I obviously want a little bit of nice anatomy going on in there, but we're not concerned too much, because it's more just a quick mood kind of thing about the head. Now this arm that I want is kind of bent this way, so we want to think about the tricep is going to be around here, and then that's going to be kind of hanging there like that. Then this one is going to be coming over. That's not quite right. It's not quite what I was looking for, so let's just go easy. I'm just speeding through this, so I'm not going to play with this. I'm not going to spend as much time on it, because it's something that I just want to get through. We got a lot to do in this lecture. Right, so she's going to be holding one hand over the other, so I'm going to sort this hand position out. It's one hand is clasping over the other hand. We'll draw that in as we get to it. Right, let's have a look at the silhouette. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Right, so now we're going to have this kind of coming in here with the knees, these shapes coming in here like this and like this. So I'm just really kind of getting the proportions right of what I think is good. Okay, and the costume is going to literally be based on the costume that I see in that image that I found. Okay, maybe this foot should be more front to us. That's wrong. So let's keep this front to us like that. Okay. Right. So the basket shape is going to be here like this. We're just going to draw outline silhouette of that basket shape. There like that. Okay, so let's just put a center line on there. Let's put a clavicle on there. Let's just have her anatomical features mapped out. Okay. Right. So what we have is we have a sort of generic kind of kid design that I'm going to now start playing with and putting in my costume ideas and things like that on top. So before I do that, I can see the chat on the side of my eye buzzing away. Let's have a quick look and see what people are going on. Please quickly tell me what the software name and version that you are using. Rajiv, it's not going to help you. It's not going to make any difference. Okay? I'm using Storyboard Pro. But I'm making marks with my pencil, digital brush, default vector brush. The software is not doing anything. All right? I'm using Storyboard Pro. Let's count. I'm gonna make a point here. I don't care how many viewers I lose. Let's count 25 seconds and see what Storyboard Pro does. I'll watch the chat on the other screen. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there, people, is the power of Toon Boom Storyboard Pro. I hope you can see just what an amazing program it is. Oh my God. It's absolutely, I'd better just get off the stream and just leave Storyboard Pro to just keep teaching you all how amazing it is. Okay? Right. So let's continue with the idea that we have here. Now I'm going to bring in this image, okay, that we have. Amberly, I saw you in the chat. I'm going to be doing a series of streams teaching how to make a short film inspired by your Red Riding Hood short. So I'm kind of giving you a class in how to make the film the AMB way, the Real Animator Training way. So just in case you go through the way what you're doing at your college, I don't want to conflict anything with what's going on with that. But then you can always come back and refer to these series of lectures once we've... just to be clear for those of you who've turned up late, Amberly Farrell, she's a Real Animator Training Library member and also a member of this group, Real Animator Training Growth, Development and Progress. She's doing an animation course, I think, or she could correct me, maybe a filmmaking course or a media course. And they've asked her to do a 30-minute animatic. And it's very charming, but I can feel that Amberly is feeling rushed and pushed. And first thing I'll say, Amberly, is if I was in charge of this course, I'd have you spending at least a year on just 30 seconds, especially if you're a beginner. There's so much to learn. But I'm going to do a series of films, a series of streams. We're going to do 2 streams on characters, the wolf and the girl, which is in your short. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do environments and all those kind of things, and we're going to do a series of streams, and then we're going to storyboard and do the whole storyboard thing. So it's going to be an interesting series of streams that I'm going to be doing over YouTube to kind of help you all make your own short films. Right. So now I'm just going to be using this kind of outfit here and making what I can of this. Okay. So let's put this away. Let's put this one away. Right. So I'm going to now think about the silhouette of her dress under the hood, okay? Because she's going to have a dress under the hood. So I need to think what that would look like. Okay, so I've got this thing in mind. I had this kind of carved this kind of shape because I'm using that image as reference. So I'm just going to put something here like this. Okay, like this. Again, I forgot the person's name who asked about the software. I hope you're not upset by what I said. I've started to approach my streams and approach my audience as like when you come to an AMB lecture, you're talking to an industry veteran of 20 years plus, okay, and I want you guys to feel like you're in the industry when you're watching my streams. I want you to feel like you're part of you're already a professional. So when you ask things, I'm going to talk to you like you're a professional. Okay? I'm going to talk to you like we're all professionals in the same meeting, and that's what it is. And it's kind of like I was watching a video about how they teach language, because I'm always interested in how to be a better instructor, better teacher with the Real Animator Training Library. We're getting some great results, but I'm not going to rest on that. I want to be even better. So I was watching how one of the best ways of learning language is they talk to you only in the language, and they don't talk to you in your native language, and you just have to just get used to it. And I said, that's going to be really cool. Why don't I try to talk to my audience like they're all pros, So they just pick up these things a lot faster. Right, so let's think about these. This maybe the shoe. These shoes have got these little square things on there, I can see. And she's wearing socks. So she's got this kind of thing. Yeah, that's looking kind of good. I'm kind of liking that. That's looking cute. Let's put in the basket. I'm just going to put in anything for the basket. Again, the basket has to be designed properly. You know, the basket would need to be really designed and thought about what we're trying to say with that basket. Okay, so we've got this kind of image here. Let me just storyboard before I go fixing. It's not working too badly in Flip. There might be a few things that I might want to change. It doesn't matter because we're going to go over it. Let's bring the balance out on this side just a little bit. There we go. Storyboard, Flip. There we go. Right. Now, what I'm going to do before I go drawing the hood of the character in there is I'm going to make it lighter, and we're just going to start drawing on top. Let's get a black. Let's use a 6 and get in some detail in the face here. So the eye is the typical eye shape that I have. Let's give her a big clump rather than separate ones. Okay. So we've got this. And this here, I'll just be a little bit quiet. I'm just drawing over eyes. There's nothing much to say about that. You've seen me do it many times. And I'm not getting into the structure of the face and all those kind of things. We're getting more into a quick overview on character design. I've talked about structure of the face many times in my videos. Okay, so let's think about this nose. I'm going to change it just a little bit. How's that? Yeah, and the mouth. So what I will talk about is I want this to have my stepdaughter's features, okay? So I'm going to give her a top lip like that, and the bottom lip is going to be hair, but my stepdaughter's got this little dimple in her lip, so I'm going to put that in to kind of separate that out just a little bit. Now we're gonna bring this. I'm gonna bring her cheeks down a little bit to give her a little bit more of a girlish, childish look, and that is why we get that beard. We don't want a beard. My stepdaughter will kill me. Right, so there we go. It's coming around there. Right. So there we've got like some kind of face there. Again, I've just sped through that because it's a typical kind of face I know and I'm comfortable drawing. I've just adapted the typical female AMB character you see me doing. That's based on my wife. And my stepdaughter looks a lot like her mother. So I've just made a younger version of it. That's all I've done. Nothing special there, okay? Let's put this, and I'm kind of giving it my stepdaughter's hairstyle when she goes to school, of course. Right. So let's have that like that. The hairstyle again is not something that I've really thought about, because obviously I'm being quick. Again, if we really was going to plan this, really do this properly, okay, we need to think about our character, what she looks like without her hood on when she's, I'm doing that, but I'm not. Remember at the start, I really fudged over something, and I fudged over it, and it's actually one of the most important things that makes storytelling. As a story man, as a head of story, I'm telling you, this is one of the things that really, really makes these movies, and that's characterization. Okay, characterization. Okay, the thing that makes those movies what it is we need to think, well, how would she wear her hair? How would her hair look? I'm thinking, as I've got that neck slightly out there, we need to bring that in there. And I'm going to make it a little bit smaller as I had to adjust that. We need to bring it back to that size. I think that'll be good. There, like that. Okay. So now let's give her this very generic sort of period outfit. So she's got a collar, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to put another color out there to make them look like flower petals. Again, it doesn't really, we're not going to see it, so I'm being quite quick and just going from typical kind of memory of the kind of costumes that I've done over many years of working in the past. This is also, if you're a professional character designer, okay, this is something that would be useful if you just have to knock out characters super fast, okay? If you're doing incidentals or stuff like that, you got to knock out characters super fast. Then you're going to just use, regurgitate models and things like that. So there's a little bit of that going on here, but hopefully I can make it a little bit more than that with the when we get to doing the hood of the character, and that's gonna really give her personality. But already, hopefully what some of you are gonna get is you don't just jump in there and do the character with the hood and just not even think at all about what's under the hood. You got to really give it some kind of thought. Okay, there we go. Right, now I want to get these fiddly hands done. So she's going to be holding this basket. Okay, so if she's coming here now, here's how to do this. Okay, now I'm going to change color here, but so you can see what I do. Okay, so I'm putting in this insertion. Okay, you've got a radius and an ulna bone. Okay, so you got the ulna and the radius comes here like this, and then you've got this kind of little V shape, and then you've got all your kind of corporal bones, your pisiform, your scyphoid, your lunate, your hamate, your trapezium, your tricutrium, your capitate. You got all of those in there, and then you got all of your metacarpals, okay, that come out of those, and then your phalanges. So what this triangle here represents, I'm just giving you a quick anatomy lesson, okay? Again, if you want to double down on the anatomy, just join my Real Animator Training Anatomy class course in the library. So what I'm doing is I'm putting these shapes in here, and they're going to kind of help me figure out what I want to do here. So all my carpal bones are going to go in here, so my square is going to come here. And now I'm going to think about how these hands are going to be around the basket. Okay, so I'm just going to think about, well, maybe this one is going to be here like this, and we're going to have two in here like this, and this third one is going to be here. Now on top of that, okay, I want this hand clasping on top of the other one. Okay, so this is quite interesting because I want this one to be around the basket as well. So they're going to be kind of like going one into the other like this kind of thing. So I need to really make sure that they're going to be slotting in there and working. So let's have a look at how big, because I've zoomed in. Yeah, as I thought, her hands are a little bit small as I've zoomed in to talk to you. So I'm going to make them just that little bit bigger. And now I've explained it to you. So I'm going to delete them and just draw. Okay, because when I explain, it gets a bit messy. Okay. So I'm going to come in here. Let's just put hair like this. So we're going to put a little bit of the knuckles coming on here like that. Then underneath we've got these ones coming here. So this one is going to be coming over this one, and we're going to see that. Then there's going to be this one coming over this one. We're going to see that. There's going to be this one coming over this one. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then there's going to be one more here, and then this one is going to be coming out here like that. 4 like that, and then this thumb is going to be clasping around there like this, and then this hand is going to be going with the thumb around the basket, clasping there like that. So we can tidy that up. It's going to be, I'll tidy that up in a minute, but I've worked it all out. Okay, you see, it's fiddly. It's not hard. It's just fiddly. Once you understand the anatomy, it all kind of starts getting together quite easily. And again, because I've zoomed in there and I've just honed in, that's one of the things about having a small Cintiq. You kind of just tend to zoom in. I don't mind it because it's like working and putting your head closer to the paper, but sometimes you you can get your sizing a little bit out, but it's okay. That's one of the benefits. It's not just Storyboard Pro that allows us to go in there and enlarge things. Right, so we've got this here like that. Now we've got these shoes coming here like this. I'm going to put a little few creases on there on this. Okay, these socks, a little anatomy tip. Okay, just like with the hands, okay, those hands really need to be bigger. Just like with the hands, you got the tibia and the fibula, okay, and the tibia's here and the fibula comes at the side, okay, like this, and it gives us this little joint here like this, okay, and that enables us, this is our talos joint, which is our ankle joint, which enables us to, you know, pivot our foot, okay, and then here we've got all these things. We've got a navicular, we've got a navicular, let's do it on this side, yeah, navicular, and our cuneiform bones, okay, and then our cuboid bone and our calcaneus bone, okay, and then they come all around here with our metatarsals and then our phalanges, and they all come around here like this, okay, and then they actually come in here like this, okay. So then we have this, so that's how the foot is basically turned into a simple triangle, and we just make those simple triangle shapes because we're literally, you know, so if we're doing on this side, we're literally getting all that down in there like that, and if we're doing on the other side, okay, so we're literally coming in here like this because the calcaneus, the heel bone, is on the other side, okay, so it's like here this, and then this comes down here like this, okay, and then we've got all fat padding skin on this side, but our you know, tibia bone, and it comes here like this, so we have all that. So why I'm telling you all this is because if you want to put little creases on the socks and stuff like that, which is what I've done here, you just put these little creases and rings around there, and bingo, you've got some nice definition on your foot. Okay, so simple little construction tip for those of you looking to cut corners. Okay, it'll only carry you so far though, so just bear that in mind. Yeah, sooner or later you're going to have to visit the anatomy. Okay, so there's the foot coming in there. Okay, right, there we go. So this is what we've got at the moment. Let me I'll tell you what, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep that as is. And I'm going to move the black. We're going to make a nice little kind of sheet here. So I'm going to keep that. Let's make that red, and let's make that blue. Okay, so we've got this and this at the moment. We've got this and this. Right, let me just address these hands before I go on to doing that. So I need to tidy them up a little bit. So I'm going to get them again because I zoomed in. I'm going to bring those wrists up just a little bit and bring them here. Okay, there we go. I'm going to look at that. How's that for sizing? Not bad. Right, so let's tidy these up now. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm just going to go in and make my shapes on top. Okay, so then there's this one, then there's this one, and there's this, this. Okay, it's going to come on top like this. So that's this hand on top of there, and then this one is going to come on top of there and clutch the basket. So that's all kind of hidden behind there, you see. Even if it's hidden behind, you want to kind of have the information there, so it is not so your drawing is as accurate as you can get it to be. Now what I'm seeing here I don't like is this cleft in here is just a little bit too much. I'm fussing about this when I shouldn't be, because it's all going to be covered with the new silhouette. So now we've got our, let's just make that this kind of color and this one this color. I prefer that, that's nicer. So now we've kind of got our Red Riding Hood. Again, I'm thinking, as I'm looking at some of these shapes, you want to look at shape balance. I made these shapes, I like them when I was drawing them, but I'm thinking they're kind of conflicting with the character. So we want these shapes to help our drawing as opposed to hinder. Okay, so that's a little bit nicer. There we go. So we want all that to be kind of working first. It's not that great, but I'm going to stick with it. And we're going to now think about what we're doing with our character's hood. So I am going to make this into a lighter blue. Okay. So you can see how I'm working fairly fast. Let's see how much of the stream has passed. Oh, the stream, it's all changed now. The stream is now stream duration. Where's the stream duration? I don't know. I don't like this new YouTube streaming. It's not telling me how much of the stream has passed. Stream settings, analytics. Okay. I still don't know. I honestly don't know how long the stream has been going on for. So there we go. Anyway, let's go in the chat and see what's going on. I like that Travis says. He just said it's not a good idea to cut corners or do the short-term method. Eventually you'll need to, so don't cheat yourself or your work. Absolutely. She looks Christian. Well, there you go. Hey, Kitchen Cat, how you doing? The initial silhouette, I keep seeing ghost face. Well, there you go. Let's have a Miyazaki feel to it. That one girl depends how you're doing. It's been on for 50 minutes. Cheers, Travis. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, it'll stay on YouTube, Cape. It'll stay on YouTube. Moto. I like it. I make full animation hard for me to play into the next scene. Okay. Pulling an all-nighter because university demands it. I guess I'll be listening to your wise words once more. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Live Fantasy, how are you? Good to see you. When it comes to hands drawn in complex positions, anyone got any tips? Oh, well, learn anatomy. That's the tip of tips. I'm angry at my phone for notifying me half an hour into the stream. Well, there you go. It could be due to that new YouTube thing. I got a message from YouTube because I'm an animation channel, and it was asking me, is your stuff for children? And that's why I'm using the new live stream. I've been reverting back to the old Creator Studio a lot because I just prefer it. But I guess that's where we're at now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about the hood shape on top of this. So let me make this a nice color. Let's make this a bright red. Now I'm going to think about putting the hood shape on top of this. And we're going to... So this is where we started, okay? And this is where we're going. This is what this is all for, okay? So this is a slightly 3/4 thing. So I'm going to come in here like this. And I'm going to say, okay, well, we've got this kind of thing here. And we've got this kind of thing here. And we're putting these at the sides, okay? Now this is a slightly 3/4 thing. So I am thinking purely in silhouette. So this part of the hair I'm just going to cheat out, okay? Because I don't think we would see it. And again, just if you've joined the stream late, I'm just going to bring it in again. We started with that silhouette based on this, okay? Based on this, okay? But I've obviously thinned the character down a lot. And I'm making it look a little bit more in the style that I would like to see if I was doing a Red Riding Hood feature, okay? So now this cloak is coming over the hands, okay? So this is going to be coming over the hands like this. And this is going to be hanging off the back like that. I think it's going to overshoot this. We want to have some silhouette coming in here like this. We're going to overshoot. That's nice. Okay, so you see how now I'm again thinking pure silhouette, okay? I'm thinking silhouette. Right. So we've got this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit and I'm going to storyboard and I'm going to flip selected scene. I'm going to see how that silhouette works. That silhouette's working for me in flip mode. Okay. Edit, undo. Let's save that. Right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start filling in this. Okay, so I want to give some dimension to this silhouette. So that's gonna be the dimension to the hood. Okay, let's start putting some dimensions. So you see how now we got some 3 dimensions in there. Now this hood has to kind of like have a collar piece, I think, if I'm looking at the original costume. Okay, then it's kind of tied here and it's kind of joined, and then we're going to open and come over the side like this, something like this, and then similarly this one will be coming something like this. So you see, I'm using the underdrawing to help me, okay, give me a little bit of contouring, but I'm mainly thinking about the silhouette. Okay, mainly thinking about the silhouette. That's what's super important here. So I am going to yellow that. Okay, and we're gonna see what we get. Okay, I'm gonna go over this again. Let's go over it in a darker color. Let's bring my brush size down. Okay, let's work on a 8. Okay, so I'm gonna come here like this, and notice I'm not doing the inside star thing just yet. Okay, so I'm going to think about this. I'm going to think maybe I'm gonna think about that star shape, and I'm gonna soften this. We want the negative space around her face to be a little bit softer. Okay, so now I'm starting to think about that star shape. Let's chisel that away. Let's chisel that away like that. Okay, like this. Then maybe this will come up over her head like this. Okay, to give her this sort of... I wanted to kind of have a contemporary, an old school, like, you know me, I love my 90s kind of cartoons. But I wanted to have a contemporary... Even though it's based on old stuff, I want it to have a little bit of contemporary feel to it. Give her some of that kind of Lord of the Rings or Jedi Knight quality to her. Even though she's an innocent little kid, we want her to have that fantasy element in there. So that's why I've kind of opted for this kind of silhouette. Okay, so I'm going to keep that there like that. And the yellow is kind of taking, I might have to rein that in, but the yellow is kind of taking in what I'm originally intending to do there. So let's put in a few marks there. We'll work that out later, that upper bit. Now this was looking quite good as was. Okay, so I'm just going to throw this in. Okay. So even when I'm making these marks here, it's all about the silhouette. All about the silhouette. That should be in the middle. This should be in the middle, coming around here like this. And around here like this. With a little bit of the back end of that. Okay. Right, now what I'm going to do is very lightly, I'm going to put this dimension thing here. Because we're going to now switch over to that. Okay. How are we doing? How are we doing? Not bad, not bad, not bad. Okay. So now I'm going to start thinking about that star thing. So I'm going to change my color. I'm going to change my color to a lighter one so I can, if it doesn't turn out what I wanted. So I'm going to add this. Okay. So now I'm going to change the contour of the top in according to that. Okay. So now I'm going to first think, okay, so this is going to come here like this. But we want it kind of coming, complementing over her face. It might layer her eye and come like this. This is nice. Okay, this is nice. Because we got this. You see we're working structure a bit here. You got this coming here like this. Okay. Then this one maybe will come out like this, and then this will come to the side. We want this to go into her face a little bit. Maybe it can rest behind her face, give her some dimension. Then we have this thing coming on here like this. I'm liking that. Right, let's change that into a yellow and go in on top of that. Let's just go in with this like this. Okay, and then I'm gonna have to tidy up the cloak just one final time, and then that's it. We're gonna kind of have our first kind of image, and then the next image we're gonna do of her, we're going to try and imagine her in a pose that's related to the project. Okay, so I'm kind of liking that. I'm just going to make that heavy so I can see that. Now I'm going to just give this one extra little fixer, and then we're going to go in and leave it. Okay, right. So let's come on here like this and have this and this shape. So you see how I'm really thinking about the outer silhouette, always the outer silhouette. And now I've got to think about the negative space of this silhouette. Okay, this is really, really important. I can't stress it enough. Okay, silhouettes and negative space, and all about the shapes. This is where the appeal, this is one of the laws of animation. Okay, for those of you who just, think you want to just feel your way, this is one of the actual laws of animation. I'm going to bring that there like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring that normal there, so we can now see something interesting happening in the face. And we're going to have kind of like these sort of die here like that. I'm just going to be quite sketchy with that. I'm not here to make clean, crisp drawings. So now I'm going to bring this here. I just take my time on the face, really, on the face area, because that's the area that is obviously got a little bit more detail and fiddle. Okay, so we're going to come in here and get this. So you see, within an hour, okay, we've got something that's quite decent. Okay, it's a little bit generic, it's a little bit typical. Okay, I'm not here to be, you can't make an amazing piece of feature film design in an hour's live stream with perhaps about 10-15 minutes thought beforehand. You got to so if I was you, if you were making your own film, I would spend at least a day on this. But you can see what we got here. Now what I'm going to do, which I think it's worth doing, I think it's definitely worth doing, is I'm just going to go over the face with this hood, and then I'm going to take this and put it on the side so you can see the 3 different stages of the character. So just bear with me. Let me just look in the chat, see what people are saying. Give me something to talk about while I'm doing that. YouTube is stupid. They should just make a thing specifically. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. We should really have, a platform for animation. We're going to have to get used to, it's all about the YouTube. I really love these live streams. Amazing people here. I'd hate to, well, let me chime in about the YouTube thing. Okay, there's a lot of that. You're all focusing on one side. Okay, there's 2 sides to everything, so you're not wrong. You certainly are not wrong, and I'm not saying you're wrong. But here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. You're all live well, I'm live and you're live because you're in the chat and we're talking and you're watching me, and this is not a boastful statement, but you're watching probably one of the best animation seminars you're likely to ever see in your life. Okay, and this isn't even a real animator training library seminar. Okay, this is something I'm doing especially for somebody, for not just especially for Amberly, but Amberly's inspired this stream. Okay, because she's submitted her class coursework in my group, what she's expected to do in her class, and it's not for me to say whether her school is good or bad, or what they're teaching her is the right or wrong, but let's just say I wouldn't do it like that. So I said, all right then, why don't I share how I would do it if I was instructing a class in a casual manner? Because if I really would do it, I would need to do like this to get to where we are here. Would have been about 3 live streams, because we would have talked anatomy, character construction, perception of all that. But I'm doing it for a YouTube audience. So, but I'd still wager that Amberly will probably get a lot more out of this than she would get from her lecturers in her course, and I'm not going to apologize for that. I firmly believe it. So back to point. You're all getting to see that for free. Okay, and I'm going to leave it on YouTube. I'm not charging for it. It's not even going in the Real Animator Training Library, because as I said, this is a super quick kind of little overview taster course that's going to be adequate for people who are not really interested in taking their animation further than just their little hobbies, but they're going to have something. Okay, they're going to have something that's professional, which is this, and you're getting all that through YouTube. So I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for saying this, but I've been learning a lot. I've been learning to be a lot more grateful in my life since I started Real Animator Training, and I tell you what, it's made me a lot happier person. It's made me a lot calmer person, and it's affected my work in an extremely positive way. So I'm actually very grateful to YouTube. Whatever their motives are, whatever their intention are, I'm grateful to them. I'm thankful that I'm here streaming to you guys, sharing this information with you, helping people improve their art, learn more about professional hand-drawn animation, grow the Real Animator Training Library. A number of things are being able to be done because of platforms like YouTube. So I'm just gonna throw it out there that, well, people, yes, there are some sides to this that are not necessarily pleasant and might seem a little bit underhand and unfair and distasteful, because we've all been used to things a certain way. But you know what? We still have a place, and there are other places as well. There's Twitch. There's some other places that are obviously going to be trying to compete with YouTube, and you can bet that with this thing happening, you can bet that with this thing currently happening, what's going on now? Why did I know why I did that? That was silly of me, wasn't it? Why did I do that? See, I don't know. I'm just going to leave it. It's wrong, but I'm going to leave it. But you can bet that there's going to be other platforms offering you the things that YouTube have taken away, seeing it as their opportunity to start a new startup business. So it's going to be more opportunity, and it's going to be more places for people to turn to do their things. So that's my take on it. Let's look at the other side as well. Right, so here we go. So I have done that because I've wanted to go here, and I've wanted to kind of show you the progression. Okay, so let's take this, and I'm going to make this a heavy black, and I'm going to make this another black here like this. So what we can see here and let's move this here and let's reframe our drawings, is that hopefully you are all seeing this very clearly, is that we've kind of got something out of the character now. That's kind of, we can see where we've taken our initial shape silhouette pass, and we've got our character design. Now color is going to be extremely important for this character, but I'm going to leave color out of it for now, okay? Because we're just working on pre-production, and what we have is this. And so we've done one particular image of the character in action, not in action. That's the one we're going to do next, and then we'll wrap up this part of the stream. So you can see how we've gone from the stage of just before we move on to the next drawing, where we try to apply what we have here. So you can see how to apply this. This is just the initial design. So what we've gone from, let me pick another color. That's we've gone from this, which is initial shape, and silhouette. I wish I could spell silhouette, so I'm not going to. I've embarrassed myself with my spelling many times. Then we've gone from rough, rough character. Okay, rough character suggestion. Okay. Then we've sort of we could have put the cloak on this one. Okay, but I need to be clear. If I was drawing this for a professional gig, I would have just roughed all over this, okay, and I would have just had this, okay, because but I'm treating this like this is a finished movie, and we need to see it in all states. So then we go. I cleaned it up. You don't really need to clean it up, okay, as I said, and then we've gone on to final shape suggestion. Okay, so what we have here is, you can see the progression of an idea. Okay, and this is going back to the real animator training concept of making animation special again, putting animation back into the human hand, as this world is becoming increasingly more automated. And machines are doing more work at the push of a button. Animation has become less special. But there was a time when it was all about brilliant draftsmen, brilliant artists, those classic Disney feature films, anime films, Miyazaki, if you will, or, French movies, Italian, all drawn stuff. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get back to that mentality. So you might see in a lot of movies, where they have these kind of simple shape characters, simple shape designs, okay, where they have these big eyes, okay, and they have these kind of things. What they're trying to do with the Thundercats, these kind of simple shapes, and then they're appealing. I'm not saying they're not appealing, but the reason they're that way, okay, the reason they're that way, so inclined, okay, not necessarily hard to do. Let's give her a fringe, let's give her a little, kind of thing like this. These kind of simple shape things, because the computer can just easily deform and stretch and do all these, kind of things to it, okay, taking away the draftsmanship, taking away the skill, taking away the real mastery of shape, okay, which is what real animators have. Special animators, when animation was special, when people used to go, you're an animator. Now it's like, oh, okay, yeah. Or the computer does it all now, does it? Yeah. Well, it kind of, yeah. So what this lecture is all about, introducing that concept, how to go beyond that simple babyish, graphic, let's all pretend that it's all very appealing. It was at one time, but now we can see through exactly why it is. It's for the computer to do it in 2D nice and easily. So we're going to get back to this level. You're all going to get back to this level. So that's what I'm giving you. I'm sharing that with you. So that's what we're doing. Okay. So this is the initial stage where we do something like that. Now I'm going to make a new panel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about this character in a scene, in a context. Okay. So I'm just going to very quickly imagine a pose. Going to do a very generic kind of pose. I'm going to imagine her running. Okay. I'm going to imagine her running with her basket, running through the woods. So again, what I'm going to do before I do anything, because it's all about the sweeping hood shape and all that, but before I do the sweeping silhouette of her and her hood and all those kind of things, I'm going to kind of just give myself a little bit of an idea about the running pose. I'm going out of frame here. I see it kind of in this frame, but I'm going out of frame because I just want to make sure that I get my drapery right. Okay, so again, I'm just putting in my my silhouette in there, and now I'm going to think about my hood silhouette and think about what'll be happening around there. Okay, maybe this will be coming here. Maybe we'll have a big kind of swish here like this. Maybe it'll be going behind her thing, or maybe up, I guess. It's difficult trying to think about what this, because you got to remember the model, how that thing wraps around her. Okay, so I'm just thinking about that. Then that dress will be kind of stretched. That dress will be stretched, kind of making this kind of thing around it. So you can see how I'm now thinking about, okay, this is interesting. This is interesting. We got this, we got this, we got this. So I'm really thinking about these shapes in here like this. Like that. Okay. Before I move on to anything, so I can really imagine what this character will look like. Let's reframe it. Let's put it here like this. It's kind of nice. It doesn't matter about the framing. Obviously that stuff is all gonna, the basket, the hands will be being pulled, the basket. I haven't really thought about the basket. As I said, this stuff really needs to be thought about properly, but I'm just kind of throwing this in there. So the reason why I'm doing this is two things. We want to think about, later on when we start storyboarding, we want to see how these shapes can implement in the environment. The trees around it and all that kind of thing. At the moment, it's early days, so we're just feeling these shapes out as a piece of character drawing at the moment, so that we can get into that zone a little bit later. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a very rough kind of vector pass on top of this, and then I'm going to do a bitmap drawing on top, because I think it'll be nice to do a little bit more of a kind of classic pencil style drawing. Okay, so I'm just gonna rough in my personality pose. So she's gonna be running, her mouth's gonna be open. Okay, her mouth's gonna be open. I'm gonna kind of rough out all the anatomical features here for me, so I don't get lost along the way. So we've got the head kind of hair like this kind of hair portion here like that. The hairstyle was something like this, wasn't it? Something like this. I'm gonna put a little bit of the hair on there, because even though I can cheat it with the hood, it's nice. It's just nice to have it. It's just nice to have it. Okay, so this is gonna be something like this, and it's gonna be at the back there like that. Okay, right. So again, I've gone over the silhouette. Now I'm thinking. Okay, I'm thinking anatomy. So I'm thinking if her back is turning, her back is turning, then the scapula, okay, is going to be somewhat hair. Okay, so I can think about this thing here like that. So it's important to know that. And then the other scapula is going to be kind of up here like this. So we kind of got this triangle going on here with this arm here like that coming away from us. So I'm being super scruff, just letting my pencil flow. Okay, really just letting my pencil flow into those silhouettes and find those shapes. The scapula is going to be coming here. The back is going to be hair like this with this line. Okay, so here the pelvis is going to be turning. Okay, so we got the pelvis is going to be turning towards us this way. Okay, like this. So then this is going to be underneath here like this. Okay, so this is going to be dead straight. Okay, so look at this. I'm working on just all these kind of little shapes like this to kind of help me. Okay, super kind of just exaggerated, getting this pose in there. It's going to help my drapery come in. Okay, so now this is going to, so you see how I talk about this section of the talos and then the navicular and then the cuneiforms, the phalanges, and then you got the calcaneus on this side coming here like that. So you see how I can get the foot shape. Okay, again, you see, you don't cut corners, you just know. That's the real animator way. Okay, the real animator way is you don't cut corners, you just know. Okay, you know how to do it. Okay, so again, here we got the calcaneus, we got the cuboid, we got the phalange, the metacarpals, okay, metatarsals, and then on here you got all the navicular and the cuneiforms, and then all that. You see how that makes that top bit of the foot, makes it easy for us to work that out. So I've got that there. Okay, so we've got something like this, right, coming in the spine there. So from here I'm going to miss out. The only thing I'm going to have is maybe this dress thing here. Okay, maybe this one, and then there might be one on top of that knee there like that, because this is where I'm working out, because a lot of this is going to be concealed by the anatomy, not by the anatomy, by the hood. So I'm kind of just working all this out now like this, so I can just get in there and really work my silhouettes, work my shapes. That's the most important thing. See, this bit of the hairstyle gives me a nice place to play with that. Makes me really thinking about this. Okay. Now, I know what I did there. Let's have a look. That's right. That's right. We had that star thing coming there like that. Okay, so I'm going to want to have something like this. Okay. And then this is going to come under here like this, coming in there like that. Okay, so now we need to think about this. This is going to cut in, and this is going to kind of swirl. Let's have a big swirling around here like this. I like that swirl around there like that. And from here on, I'm going to use that spine line. I'm going to bring this swooping over this way shape to help that. And then use this. Okay. And really kind of make this nice S shape around here like this. That's interesting. I maybe want to show a bit of that dress. Maybe. No, let's not. We'll work that out later. So the cape's going to be coming around there on that side. Okay. So let's just fill in this basket. Okay. Let's fill in the basket there like this. There we go, and have some of that. Okay. Let's indicate this as well. Actually, I don't want to. Actually. I'll do that later because we need to think about the. We need to think about the actual. Face when we draw the bitmap. Okay, so new bitmap layer. Let's get in there now. Let's have a look at my bitmap brush. Let's have the flow a bit more. Let's have the flow about 80. Okay. How's that? Let's get in there. How's that? Not bad. Right. Let's just have a quick look at the comments. Dun, dun, dun. How many cartoon series have you worked on when you pursued animation? I didn't really work on many series in the UK. I worked on shitty little things for the BBC and series like that. If you're talking series like Snailsbury Tale. I worked on foreign feature films like El Cid the Legend, The Jester Tale. I worked on a load of Cocoa Pops commercials. I worked in commercials. Commercials were the more higher standard. Commercials had film budgets, you know. They were more expensive. So I worked at studios like Uli Meyer and Espresso doing commercials and things like that. So, yeah, Frosted Flakes, Cocoa Pops, Honey Stars, you know, those kind of things. And then I worked on, when I did work on, I worked on half-hour special movies or straight-to-video movies in the UK that were, I did the layout posing for them because they had to be done in other countries. Stuff like Heidi's, stories like that. Then there was then the series work. The big series work I did while I was an animation director was of CG for Lego Legends of Chima. Then I storyboarded on a lot of Horrid Henry. I storyboarded on Lego Nexo Knights. I storyboarded on the Mad Hatter Chronicles. I storyboarded on Jungle Junction. You know, all these Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Disney Junior shows, storyboarded on all those stuff. Sorry to bring up software. It seems like Toon Boom had an advantage changing colors on vectorized line. Do you find it? I don't mind you bringing that up. I actually agree. That is an advantage. I like that. I don't like layers. People meeting an animator tend to be like, "Oh, you're an animator. Well, cool. I think I could do that as well." Yeah. Well, they could. You know, there's nothing wrong with that, Lily Chan. It's good to be inspired. It's good to, you know, it's good to. When I say make animation special again, I don't mean to take away to say that we're better than anyone. I mean, you know, just to make sure that the skills are there. And if people who really want to do it, they're going to be inspired to want to do it. Yeah, because nowadays you can just open up your iPhone and talk into your. You can now on the new iPhone make a kind of Pixar-ish emoji of yourself. You know. Right, so let's go on in here. What I'm going to do is I think that this could benefit with being yellow, actually. And then you guys can see a little bit more clearly. So I'm now going to come in here and I'm going to make a slightly fatter brush. Let's work with a 30. That's better. I'm going to come in here. How's that looking on the stream? Let me have a look. The stream window is a lot smaller now. So hopefully you can see the red. I'm just watching the delay. It's in yellow. I'm just seeing, can you see that red line that I'm going to be making? It's a little soft. Yeah, you can see it. You can see it. Let's work away with that. Right. So we're going to draw on top now. There's nothing really to be said about this. I mean, apart from the usual stuff. I mean, especially if you're in real animator training. The skull construction is all sitting in that diamond shape of the frontal bones of the face. Doing a turnaround of the skull and knowing each bone within the skull that make up the entire calvira, which is the upper portion of your skull. Then you have the mandible, which is the jaw, the lower version. It's all super, super helpful. So we're gonna just put in the eyes there like that. Okay. Now the eyebrows are gonna sit up here. I'm gonna have like less on there, and I'm just gonna make a really big fat kind of nice teardrop kind of eye shape. I love thick eyebrows. Ever since I was a little kid and I saw Jennifer Connelly in Labyrinth, thick eyebrows were always the way for me. And my stepdaughter and my wife have nice thick eyebrows too, so I think I got the right family for me. There we go. Right. So let's put the nose in there, and let's have a... Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the mouth shape. Okay. And as I'm making this mouth shape, you got to understand... Let's go under the vector thing here, and so you can understand. Okay, so there's some information here. Zygomatic bone, okay. Frontal bone is up here. Nasal bone will be here. Okay, this is the frontal bone. This thing, it connects to this zygomatic bone on this side. Okay, now on this fitting in here, you got a lacrimal bone, which is where your tear duct is, but that's not all this. This is where this nasal cavity is. Okay, this here is the maxilla. Okay, around here. Okay, which comes at the back. Now on here is around the temple bone at the side. The only reason I bring that up is the temple mandibular joint. Now you see where I've put the maxilla here. This here is the mental portion, the mentalis. Okay. And then you got this coming down here, which is the jaw. I'm being super square and harsh. She's a pretty little girl. Okay, she's not going to have that harsh jaw, but you can see. And then the skin, the orbicularis oris, is going to be circling around this. Okay, and that's where our lips are going to be like that. So let's just take that away, so you can understand that. Okay, so the lip portion is all around and circling around there, this orbicularis oris muscle. That's also what happens with the eye, the orbicularis oculi. Okay, nasalis. Okay, zygomatic major, zygomatic minor, buccinator. Okay, mentalis, mandibular. Okay, frontalis. Okay, depressors, levators, that'll all come in the muscle archive when we get time. Okay, but just what goes into drawing these faces, just so you know. Okay, so if you think, why doesn't he explain? I've explained many times, and as I said, when you come to an A&B video, I'm going to talk to you like a professional, or I'm going to talk to you like a supervisor or a senior animator that's going to be telling you what you need to do to up your game. Okay, because it really, people were scared they'd lose their job if they couldn't cut it back in those days. People were sweating. I once knew a guy who worked with Richard Williams on Roger Rabbit. Lovely guy. I'm not going to mention his name. He had a nervous breakdown, and when I first met him, he was stammering and stammering all the time. All the time he was stammering. I came out of the industry and worked on a movie called Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights. And it was an amazing experience for me, but also it was my first time on a Hollywood movie. I was straight out of school, and people were getting fired left, right, and center. And the only reason I wasn't fired is because the first little scene I did was one of the only scenes that got approved. But then later on they were calling me for me to be fired as well. Okay, everybody was getting fired because the studio, the people in the UK aren't used to working on those kind of things. they they're not used to working on those kind of films. The UK has got a lot of strong animators, myself included, but we've had to learn from outside sources. James Baxter had to go to the States. Richard Williams is Canadian. He wasn't UK. He was Canadian, and he came to the UK and opened his studio up here. Richard Burdham, his friend. Okay, Canadians connection. Then you had my mentor, who's British, Richard Baisley. He worked. He was a Bluth supervisor. He was a sequence director on Iron Giant. He worked on Pocahontas and on all those Hercules and all those films. Disney supervisor. He designed Hercules' parents. So he's British as well. But again, he had to go to LA and he had to go to Ireland and work with Don Bluth and John Pomeroy. And then he went to Disney and worked with Glenn Keane and Eric Goldberg and Andreas Deja and all those kind of people, and Brad Bird and Tony Fusilli and all those kind of people. So, and again, I met him on 8 Crazy Nights and he was impressed with me, which is why, he was opening his own studio and he asked me to come and work for him. Because the film was taken away from the UK studio because the animators were all from UK kind of projects. Like UK had just made a film called Christmas Carol, and I'll save this mask till later. I'm just going to work on the silhouette. I just want to get that face down, and now I'm going to work on the silhouette. Let's turn that off. Yeah, that's not bad at all. So what basically, yeah, so what I was saying is that basically the animators were all from there was this movie in the 90s where Kate Winslet did a voice, and it was one of the first things I was offered a job on, but I turned it down because I was offered an assistant's job on it they came to my graduation screening and they offered me a job on it as an assistant. But then I was offered another job as an animator on a really shitty low budget TV series called Flash Boyfriend of all names. And I wanted to be an animator, so I said they're offering me an animator's job, so I don't care if it's not a feature. I'm doing the animator's job. So when that, I was later fired of that job a couple of weeks after it because I was not industry ready. So just so you know, I like to keep it real. So then a couple of almost a year later, they were hiring for Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights, and I got on with my reel, and then a load of people came off that Christmas Carol movie. It was finished up. They came on, we're from a movie, we'll come and work on this. But it's a completely different sensibility, completely different style of animation. We're talking classic Hollywood feature animation, and the way the British animate, which is why Cutout has done so well here, is the British always would be heavily dependent on this technique called shift and trace or place and trace. They would key like that, and you don't key animation like that. That's ridiculous. They'd always be concerned because British would always do these little series for the BBC. They were never really extremely strong in 2D. The strong studios in Britain were run by Canadians and Germans and Spanish people or Italian people. You had Oscar Grillo, you had Simonetti, you had Uli Meyer, who I worked with. Consider him one of my mentors. He was an absolute genius. Is an absolute genius. Excuse me. So these are the people that brought these are the people that worked on Hollywood stuff. Like Uli Meyer, he worked on many Hollywood films. The most famous one is Space Jam. That's gone on the bitmap. I can't draw over that foot. But I'm just checking the silhouette at the moment. I think this is a nice little lesson into the background of the animation industry for you all as I'm doing all this. So that's why I'm telling you that we're talking about animation and just what it was to be an animator. Like, it wasn't so easy to get it was difficult to get a job, and it was difficult to keep your job, especially if you wanted to work on these kind of Walt Disney kind of projects. If you didn't cut it, if you didn't know the way that they worked, then it ain't gonna happen. So in a way, software has been really good for the industry in terms of giving people opportunity, and more jobs and more animation. So that's the good side of it, absolutely. But for me, the downside of it, and what real animator training is all about, is about bringing quality back to animation, because there ain't no doubt about it that the quality, the knowledge, the know-how, the understanding of what makes a Klaus, for example, special. A lot of people, and this is why I'm kind of keeping a little bit quiet about Klaus, is because the media and everything are going to portray it as if it's the technology, the way they've colored it to look like CG, and that's not what makes it special. We know, but we're the minority because it's not being marketed like that. We know that the thing that makes it special is the hand-drawn animation, and there are all those people like Sergio Pablos, all people from that ilk who really understand and really know how to animate. Really, really strong animators. Okay, so I've got this silhouette here, and I'm going to start putting that little star face in there and bringing this drawing together now. So this is how the silhouette of the character is working. So I'm going to put a little bit of lace there to kind of bring that in, so we can kind of see how the silhouette of the character will be working in the shots like that. I'm going to finish this drawing up by thinking about this thing now. So let's go in and have something like this. Okay, I'm gonna go and I might want to shave a bit of that hairstyle off and put a bit more of a hood shape on there. Okay, this is the things we need to think about. Coming in here like this, coming in around here like that. And this thing, this whole star thing, I want to keep that, but I want to kind of keep a sensibility of this being a hood. I don't want it to be such a blatant star. If you've joined the stream late, there was a process of quickly designing a character, and then now we're imagining what that character will look like if she was in a scene, how she would pose, what her silhouette would look like in motion. This is one of the things, you know, just looking at a drawing like this doesn't really convey it all. It's a nice design point of view, but we need to see it in motion. We need to see how that's working. This is a little bit, I'm not liking this. I want to marry this shape a little bit. Let's bring this out and bring this in. Now we're going to bring this down, maybe around on the other side. We really want to have this star thing, but keep it in with the drapery. So, and this star thing helps us keep things consistent when we're like, if you, for example, clean up. Okay, now somebody posted something on Facebook where they were talking about how cleanup artists are so good, and they are good, and they are the unsung heroes in my opinion. But I did feel the post was getting a little bit delusional in trying to imply that the poster didn't say it, but some of the commenters did. I have to be clear on that. The poster, I know, is a really cool guy. He was just trying to bring in the cleanup skill to people's attention. And then some of the people were saying, yeah, you know, the mess Glenn Keane makes and all the cleanup people save his drawings. It was kind of that kind of vibe. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's you know, taking it a little bit far. I mean, anyway, but the point is there's a half-truth to it. And what that is, for example, when you see me talking about this star, now listen up, okay, because I have been rambling a bit. This lecture is kind of going here and there because, you know, I'm trying to do everything fast. And it has become, it's edutainment. This is edutainment. It's not real anime. It's in a way real animator training because it's done by me, but it's my brand. But this is edutainment for YouTube. Now I'm gonna pick a color here. Okay, so this concept works two ways. It's this star idea coming around her face is one thing, and I haven't quite made it work, to be honest with you. It's a bit too blatant, but it's not bad. Come on, this is not bad for just one little lecture, right? So the point is I'm just doing it quick. So the reason being is when you're a cleanup artist, sometimes the animator will just kind of suggest this shape. He'll kind of, let's turn this on here. He'll kind of just do this, okay? He'll kind of just do this. Now, there are many people in cleanup. There's cleanup supervisor. There's cleanup lead. The cleanup lead has got to, even down to the way the character's nose is supposed to be tipped for consistency. Like it should be like this, okay? So they will go and they will do that because that's what it is in the model. Then they will go and say, okay, well, this animator needs to have his star, so the cleanup guy would be shifting this to bring this thing more akin into the star model, okay? So that's a reason why I've gone out of my way to try and push this star thing in this lecture. Not because I think it's such an amazing idea. No, isn't it cool that I've hidden a star in there? It's all right. It's a little bit naff, to be honest with you, but hopefully it gives you an idea. I'm trying to fit everything in there so you can kind of get a taster of what this is all about. I think that balances the shape a lot nicer. We come away from the hair, that's looking a lot nicer. Let's just unify that a little bit. Not have that too. Yes, I'm liking that. That's looking a lot nicer. Okay, right, so now we're gonna turn this one over like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna think about the drapery here. I'm gonna bring that in there like that. Now I'm going to just make these swooshing shapes a little bit nicer. Okay, and then what I will do is I'll just finish it the way we'd finish it in the industry, is I'll just black pencil on top of it, not clean, but I'm kind of tying down this drawing, and then I will just give it a black pencil tie down, because you're supposed to tie down in black. No, yeah. Well, it depends. When you're on a project, they always say this is the tie down color and this is the rough color, just so people know. Okay. That was another thing we did back in the day. Right. Let's get this working on here. Let's just see what's going on in the chat there. Interesting to see the interaction between animator and cleanup. Yikes, people really hate Klaus. Klaus just looks like a really convincing designer fashion. Okay, well, I'm not going to get into all this negativity here. Okay, the thing is we've all got opinions. Simple beginner. Thank you for the answer. That sounds please. I don't want to take the risk. Okay, that's not an answer that I gave. Okay, there we go. Okay, well, you're all talking amongst yourself. I still watch British cartoons if it makes you feel better. My country doesn't have any cartoons yet. Oh, just because hey, look, British were the masters of stop motion. Don't think I'm rubbishing. Look, for me, British are the masters of stop motion animation. We had this studio called Cosgrove Hall. They made absolutely nasty 2D, like really nasty 2D. But they had this series called The Wind in the Willows, and you had this guy called Barry Purvis, who's done a lot of stuff for Hollywood, and a lot of the animators for Frankenweenie, Nightmare Before Christmas, all those, and Aardman, of course. You got Aardman Studios, We're the masters of stop motion animation. We are the absolute, we've got that industry completely. That's what they like. They're not really draftsmen there. I'm not putting them down. They're draftsmen, but not necessarily in animation. Okay? They're the masters of stop motion. You're not going to get a much better lineage than the stuff coming out of the UK for that. I even worked on a stop motion movie, Fantastic Mr. Fox. That was directed by Wes Anderson. I remember when I went on there, they said, it's directed by Wes Anderson. And I said, who's that? Because I don't really watch many movies anymore. As I said, I'm not really a watcher, I'm a doer. I stopped watching movies when they stopped making traditional hand-drawn Disney. That's just me. And I stopped watching all movies. I just watched my old movies. Now I watch movies because then I got married and I have to do stuff with my wife and daughter without grumbling, But anyway, so I said, who's Wes Anderson? And they all gave me this shocked look. And I was more impressed by seeing Bill Murray on Skype talking about a scene than because I didn't know who Wes Anderson. I said, look, it's Pete Venkman. It's Pete Venkman. I see Pete Venkman. Venkman was my hero when I was a kid. So there you go. But I digress. So I'm not rubbishing Britain in any way at all. I'm just telling it how it is from the whole perspective of the industry as far as it was back then. I mean, you've got some iconic stuff coming out of Britain, which is 2D, but I mean, I have to say it's more about the drawing style than the animation. I mean, you had that Gorillaz stuff, you see, that Gorillaz band. I mean, it's done by a studio called Passion Pictures. Well, some of them were. I think they've moved on to other studios. I don't know, but again, they talk about that it doesn't move very. It's not the kind of movement that we like to celebrate. That celebrates rich hand-drawn animation. So, but I'm not rubbishing it at all. This is my home. This is my home with my father, mother, brother. Oh, so noble, oh, so strong. 10 points if you know the film. Okay. Now I am home. Here among my trappings and belongings I belong. I'm going to stop before I drive my audience away. All right, anyway. But no, I'm just telling it as it is. I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful to Richard Williams for coming to the UK. I mean, everybody talks about how the Richard Burdon Beauty and the Beast would have been better than the Disney one. Nah, bullshit. Bullshit. No, sorry, no. Just typical British flag waving on that. Nah. What Glenn Keane and the guys did with that was amazing. And to this day, it still takes my breath away. Right. That's exactly why I'm doing these kind of streams. Okay. So there we go. There's our character in full swing. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to knock it back a bit. And hopefully you can see the shapes and how everything's moving. What I am going to do is I'm going to knock it back, and I'm going to I think this thing here, I think we're going to find this shape here. I'm just going to put this here to help that. And I'm just going to strengthen these shapes with one final black line pass. So let's whack that up big there. Of course, the industry changed a lot. I haven't worked in the British 2D industry I've been storyboarding and doing animation direction for Lego and storyboarding for American shows and Danish shows, Lego and the Mad Hatter Chronicles was British. So it's all, those were the things I was doing. So I don't really know. I don't really look for I never really bother looking for animation jobs especially since I started real animator training. But as I said, I haven't seen anything good 2D from even any country The best 2D stuff I see now is online by people, those animators from Disney who don't work on that anymore. There's Aaron Blaze, there's Glenn Keane doing his films, his little shorts. There's the Bancroft brothers. There's John Pomeroy on Instagram. This is where the internet is, where the best hand-drawn animation, in my opinion, is. So that's where I've gone. I've gone to the internet because I feel I want to be amongst that kind of company. I don't want to be amongst the industry, which is just turning out, for me personally, low quality, uninspiring stuff. And when it comes to hand drawn, when it comes to 2D, you know. Of course, Klaus looks like it's Klaus has. I haven't seen it, but I know that Klaus will have some superb animation because I know the names of some of the animators animating on it. I mean, the Sandra Cluso, I hope I pronounce his name correctly. I don't know him personally, but I mean, if you know 2D, you'll know that guy. Then you've got, of course, Sergio Pablos, one of the greatest animators in the world ever lived, in my opinion. So this film, I don't have to see it to know that it is already got some of the best animation that you're going to see. So I'm super pleased that some quality has been reinstated in 2D on the screen, whether it's the big screen or the little screen, the TV screen, I should say. Right, I'm going to bring that down a little bit. So now what I'm doing here is I'm not just tracing, okay? I'm not just tracing. This final thing that we do is we just go in and we make sure that any little, like you can see the upper lip there, okay? I know the drawing's upside down as I'm turning it around, but the upper lip there is somewhat lacking in form and, you know, in strength. So this isn't cleaning up. I'm not cleaning this drawing up. I'm locking it down. Okay, there's a difference. This is not a clean up line. Okay, this is a very sketchy, scribbly kind of line here. But what I want you to understand is to emphasize certain things like this. I've got to use little things like line weight and things to emphasize what is in front, what is behind, those kind of things. Okay, that chin is a little bit jutting as I had the disc rotated, so we're going to soften that. I'm going to soften that. You see, that's what this is all about, this particular stage. Okay, we're just locking down the drawing. You see, some people don't do this. You see, I was talking earlier about where they were saying the cleanup artists are the unsung heroes of animation. Some animators just leave it for the cleanup. But whenever I would give my drawings to my assistant, I would always make sure that I would do this, because even when you do this, as you're going to see, because some of you remember I gave one of my Real Animator Training Library members a commission, Aaron AOX, to clean up one of my animations. He's doing it, I guess, on and off because he's, you know, it's obviously he's got his day job or whatever, so he's doing it along the side, so that's probably why it's taking a little longer. But hopefully when he's done that, you will see, and you can even see in the video, because he's been kind enough to share the progress that happens with it. You'll see what that even when you're kind of tight with the rough like this, there's still things that don't quite work in the drawing that the cleanup artist has to iron out, especially when it's animating. If it's just one drawing like this, it doesn't really matter too much, okay? It's just one drawing. But if we're talking about, you know, going on to doing drawings that have to relate and animate, now I'm going to come around here. What I tried to give her was that dimple in her lip. I'm going to try and keep that in there. Do we see it? Yes, we do. Right. And I'm going to heavy that. That's a designer choice. Right. Now I'm going to be speeding up a little bit. You see, it's important. And now I've got to weight this line just a little bit to keep that, to make sure that this drawing has dimension. Okay, this is the time where we slow down and we start piecing together everything to make sure that our drawing has nice dimension to it. Let's bring that in. So you can see how all the shapes are kind of harmonizing now. They're all balancing together. They're harmonizing. We're getting something out of this. Right, there we go. Now, of course, we've got to sort out the hair. So we need to make sure that that hair design is in there. And I'm going to put in a few lines in there to make sure that looks like hair. You see? There we go. That gives her a bit of hair design. Let's just give that some slight... I'm just doing that for a slight pencil aesthetic. I'm just being silly there, but anyway, I like that. It almost feels like pencil. I almost feel like I'm drawing on my on a sheet of animation paper when I use this bitmap brush. I like it. But you can see why I like to do vector, because vector I just speed through it. I don't get fiddly. But obviously when I want to lock my drawings down, I'm gonna switch to the bitmap. Okay. Really want that silhouette to have there. Now this is another thing I want to be careful of. You see this little bump there? We want, even though this isn't cleanup, I want that line to swoop, because it takes away from the swishing of the drawing. Okay, we really want the swishing effect of the drawing. It's important. It's important. You see, this is, even if we're making a rough, it's important, like a rough tie down. It's important to get this nice swooping line, organic feel happening. This is why I like to turn the drawing around a lot when I'm doing cleanup. You don't really turn it around much when you're roughing. Okay, when you clean up, it's absolutely vital so your hand follows that arc. Okay, again, we want to do this one here. My hand's not natural on the arc there, but it is here. Okay, so we're just gonna carry that back like that. You can do that on all of the sections there. Let's just save that, see how that's looking. That's looking strong. Let's just have a look at the chat. Hey Rigo, how are you doing? Red Fox. I'm just seeing what people are talking about in the chat. It's turned into all about the whole Klaus thing. Mayfly, turning off the chat and just watch AMB. You don't have to go. Where's Mayfly? Okay, yeah. And Mayfly was the reason I did this stream. Mayfly was the reason I did this stream. You see what negativity is? But Mayfly, you should just ignore it. Just it's hard, you know. It's taken me a long time to start blocking things out. But you know, there's the way I start to see it now is Ralph Waldo Emerson had the law of opposites. Okay, I think he called it the law of opposites. He wrote a series of books called The Law. Okay, the law of cause and effect, you know, and all these different laws. The law of polarity, maybe, polar opposites. And everybody who's saying things that you don't like, they're not wrong. But they're not right either, because there's two sides, you know. Just flip it over, okay? They don't like Klaus. They don't like Klaus. They want to belittle it. They want to moan about it. Um, just that's the side they're looking at. I'm very thankful for Klaus, actually. I haven't seen it, and I probably won't watch it until I'm on an aeroplane or something like that, because I really don't have time to sit down and watch things anymore. I'm too busy making things. It's not a comment about Klaus. I wouldn't watch a new Disney 2D film done by Glenn Keane. I just don't have time. I'm not. I'm just too busy loving my life, loving creating. I've kind of got to a stage where I'm just tired of watching. I'll watch it, I'll go, that looks interesting, but then my mind will wander and I'll just want to make my own stuff. I'm so happy to be at that stage now, but a lot of you are younger than me, so it's okay. I know that you're not quite going to relate to that comment, and you don't have to be old to be like that. I'm just saying that's just how I am. I'm just fed up. I'm just tired. I'm only interested in what I'm doing. That's if I want to spend my time on something else, I'll spend it on something that's not a film. I'll read a book, or I'll listen to an audiobook, or I'll listen to an album. I'll close my eyes and listen to a piece of music and appreciate that. Don't really watch films anymore. It's not really my thing. So it's not a comment on whether I don't like Klaus. I'm just over it. I'm over it. I've kind of outgrown all that. But I know that the animation is amazing. So if people don't like it, they don't like it. I guess I'm really thankful that Disney have been butchering their classics. I was crying like a baby for a little while. I was kicking and screaming. I even made that nice Lion King stream where I did a really nice breakdown of Andreas Deja's Scar, but I was all negative in that stream. I was some people liked it. Some people I chimed in, and people agreed with a lot of things I was saying. The like to dislike ratio. I said a lot of nasty things in that stream. But people were agreeing, but that's not important. I think I needed to go through that to mature. I'm kind of like, thank you, Disney. Thank you for butchering your classics, because you've released me. I've just completely let go. I don't care, and now I'm free. I'm 100% free to focus on my stuff. I'm 100% free to enjoy being a creator. So I'm now just trying to look at the good side. Everything has two sides. I don't like what they did to their classics. I don't like the fact they butchered them, and they've made animation something to be hidden under the carpet, as if it's something to be ashamed of. That's not the real version. This is, I remember what Elton John said. Forget the cartoon. This is the real thing. He said, trying to sell his new song. But you know what? I said, okay, what's the good that's come out of it? You know what? I'm finding peace now. I'm finding peace, and I'm actually helping a lot more people, because I'm just focusing on sharing knowledge now, without all the negative clout. Now, a lot of people are not going to like that, because a lot of people liked the negative stuff that I used to say. Although this shitty, what they did, to maybe I might still have little bits of that in me, and I might say it every now and then, but you're not going to hear it much anymore, I'll tell you that. So if you're still online, Mayfly, I'm sorry that you're upset about people's opinions on Klaus. But maybe, hopefully you'll just learn to ignore it, like I've learned to just ignore the things that upset me. The remaking of Aladdin did it for me. That was like one of my all-time favorite films, and it's like they murdered one of the best films in my life for me, and like, in a way, I'm thankful, because it set me free. Right. I couldn't be me if I was too busy being a fanboy. So, yeah. Right, there we go. We've locked that down. Oh, the picnic basket is left to do. So we've had a bit of a chat at the end of this stream as I've just been like tidying lines up. But hopefully, you know, on the whole, I think this has been a very, very insightful stream from a learning perspective in terms of the process. You know, this is just one of the characters. We're going to do another stream for the wolf. Okay, we're going to do another stream and we're going to design the wolf, and then we're going to move on from the wolf to the environment. We're going to do environment design. We're going to think about the environments in the small 30-second piece that we're doing, and then we're going to think about the the setting and all that. Then we're going to start staging it and storyboarding it and doing all sorts of things. So hopefully this is going to be a fun little series if I get the time to finish it. I know I try to start things. This is not a real animator training course, so I've just got to do it when I have time to do it. So we're going to throw that in there. I'm just going to heavy this line because I think it's important to weight this part of the cloak. You see, it makes a world of difference. Even though this isn't a cleanup, it makes a world of difference to the drawing you'll see. Okay, there you go. Right, we've layered it. So there we go. There is our process of character design. So what we did today is we started with an initial shape of a character. Let's go back to where this all began. So the person who very sadly left the stream, I'll just check the chat because I'm quite sad about that. She's gone. Yeah, she's gone, unfortunately. It's a shame, really. So the person who inspired this stream is no longer with us because of all of the negativity about a hand-drawn film, which I find funny because people saying they want hand-drawn back. They got hand-drawn back and now they're still not happy. But that's the world for you. So Amberly posted this short animatic of her Red Riding Hood film, and let's play it. So this is what she's been doing at college. They assigned her to do a small 30-second film. So I looked at this and I thought, there's a lot of charm in there, but I can see that there's a lot of maybe thought has gone into how it's going to animate and where she can use a cycle and these kind of things and those. There's some imaginative things in here as well. So I basically said, I had a little chat with her on another stream, and I said that, well, we're going to, you need to think about the background and the setting and the staging if you're really, because there's so much here that can really push, you can really push without animation. And I think, I don't know the details of it. If she was online, she could tell us. So I think they said, oh, but it's got to be done really quickly. And then, so in a way, I kind of felt bad. I said, the student should not feel rushed about something like this. This is the end game. This is something they really have to learn about, And as I said, it's not for me to talk about their course. But I thought, well, the best I can do is, if I don't have time to make a real animator training library on pre-production, I can make a series of small YouTube videos, live streams, where I just share part of the process with you, where we do the pre-production stages. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this for Amberly and for everybody, every one of you out there on YouTube that want to make your own films. I want you to understand the process that goes into doing this. So we're going to start with the one everybody's interested in, with characters. So we started with the Red Riding Hood character. We've just designed it in today's stream. Okay, it would take a lot longer than this, but this is just what we've done in today's stream. And then we're going to We're going to do the wolf on another one. Then we're going to do the staging, the environments, and then we're going to think about how we're going to tell the story in a storyboard sequence. And hopefully this is going to be the way the streams are. So they're not quite real animator training course lectures, but they are hopefully sharing some of the process with you while I'm just chatting away as well. So this kind of material would, if I would put it in the library, it would be in the extras, the extras. It's still valuetainment, it's still edutainment, it's not quite course material. But hopefully it's got enough information for you guys to really maybe inspire you to go about learning the process of how it's done, like, designing the shape of the character, then putting a humanoid thing, and then trying to fit that shape on that humanoid with that sensibility, and then putting that character in a certain environment, seeing how the silhouettes and shapes work in a pose. So hopefully that's kind of helped you guys out. I've certainly enjoyed doing that. Let's quickly have a look in the Real Animator Training Growth, Development and Progress group on Facebook and see what people are doing. Daniel Garcia, this made me laugh, but it's best you stick with the original flour sack before playing around with your own idea. It seems like an innocent thing to do, but it's always what I say. This is what I want to say to any library member, okay? Any library member, okay? The reason I don't personally mentor people, because if they don't listen to me 100%, then sorry, the deal's off, okay? And that's a very difficult thing to do. So the library is the next best thing to being personally mentored by me, because it would be like, you can do what I say, but if you want to run away and have a play, that's on you. I'm pointing you towards your fortune, okay? But if you want to run on the other direction, that's up to you. I'm not having a go at you necessarily, Daniel Garcia. I'm just suggesting to any library member, what happens is you know what? In a serious scenario, you've got your eye on the target. That guy is going to kill your beloved or your family member. You're trembling. You got to see the target. But if your eye strays from that target, will you get it? Will you get it? Okay? So what the Real Animator Training Library is it's a defined path for you to be a great animator. It's a definite path, period, for you to be a great animator. Okay? But if your eyes start to wander and you start to stray, maybe you'll get back to the path. Maybe you'll return. Maybe you'll forget it, leave it for a few days, few years, few months, still get back. You can still get there because you've got the defined path. But if those eyes stray, and then those eyes keep straying, and then they keep straying and keep straying and keep straying and keep straying, and then you don't get to be a great animator, you get to be a pretty sucky animator, and then you say Real Animator Training doesn't work. No, you didn't work. You didn't follow the path. Okay? It's not Real Animator Training. And when I say you, just to be clear, that's not Daniel Garcia. Okay? That's just the potential person in the Real Animator Training Library thinking that they can somehow pull it into their way. Okay, if you were learning to cut open a body and learn to be a doctor or a surgeon, you can't pull it your way. Okay, the person will die, dead, finished, gone. This is not a life or death matter to many of you. It's not serious. Okay, it's not serious to many of you. So, it's just animation. It's my art. It's my art. Why can't I do it my art? Why can't I do it my way? Why can't I? But why am I shit? Why haven't I got any better? Well, you've answered your own question. So the point is you need to look in extremes to find the answer to the why. Stick to the path. You want to get there? Stick to the path. Right? So let's have a look. Pretty good, Daniel. Pretty solid. But again, I'm not going to comment on the other one because I'm I'm thinking this is actually, I'm liking this sack that you did a little bit. This is a perfect illustration. This first flower sack you did Daniel, is looking a lot more better than this one that you came back to after doing your variation. Okay, this one might be a little bit more clean and solid, but it's less to the model. Okay, it's less than the model of the original sack. So your first attempt, where you followed the tutorial here, you see, I didn't even plan for the talk to kind of work out as well as it did, but it kind of shows what straying off the path has done there. So the best one, Daniel, is this one on the left here. It's pretty decent. It's not bad. Okay, it's pretty solid. It's not bad. I'm not going to moan too much about it. You're going to be doing lots with that flower sack. You don't have to do it like, I remember showing you Dwayne Stafford Gale's one, which was insanely nice. Where is it gone? Just to see, okay, this was Dwayne Stafford Gale's version, but yours is a little bit rougher and readier, but you can see the similarities. So you've actually you've pulled off the exercise quite well. It's quite a simple design to do, Daniel. So yeah, just stick to the exercises. I think I've seen Rigor's. I've had a little word with him, and he's doing just fine. I remember talking to Sojourn in the other one. What do we got here? Somebody just posted an Enter the Dragon thing because they know I like Bruce Lee. We can't keep doing that, but I just, I can't delete the man, okay? I'll have to ask Akao if somebody keeps posting stuff like that. I'll have to ask Akao to delete it for me. All right. I'm just looking here. Have we got anything else that really needs looking at? We've got, what's this? Charlene, pendulum settling to a stop. I think, yeah, I've given Charlene some feedback on that. Maharashi Gautam, are you online? Maharashi Gautam, I think I saw you in the chat. Hey, Frilled Mayfly, you're back. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased you're back. My college is basically in a modern art side set, but without any of that thought put behind it. It's like it looked like at Picasso, where they were like, that's how we're going to teach. Picasso went through years of learning. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you're back, Frol Mayfly, because you was the inspiration for this stream. I swear I saw Maharashi Gautam, or was that Masjid? I often mistake the two sometimes because... No, there he is, Maharashi Gautam. But he's gone because he's not commenting. Oh, yeah, here he is. Yay! So I can give you some feedback. Maharashi Gautam is not a library member, but I've got a lot of time for Maharashi Gautam because he's always on my streams. And he's always giving nice comments and feedback and supportive words and all that. So let's give Maharashi Gautam a little bit of feedback. Let's look at this one. So these are Maharashi's own personal walk cycles. He's not referring to Real Animator training walk cycles. Not bad try, Maharashi, but what I would say, the first thing... What is all that buzz to? Get out. How do I delete that? Get out. Oh, I can't delete that anyway. So the first thing about that, now I'm being negative, you see? Negativity, and I said I'd got rid of it. The first thing I can see about this, Maharashi, is although you've got a lot of, you're going for a lot of weight in the walk, he's kind of bow-legged, he's kind of, because it's lacking anatomy, okay? Main thing is his legs are too wide apart from each other. Okay, you haven't done it this bad, but it just feels like his legs are too... So even if his legs were... You got to understand the pelvis, and you got to understand the balance and the gait of the step of what feels natural. Okay, so if I bring this in, okay, and then we bring this hand over, you see how this is overlaying over this foot here, Maharashi? You see how this is all kind of tying together? Okay, then you want to bring this head over here like this, okay, and then we bring this hand back on this side, or maybe we bring this way. So even if you're trying to put like the front walk in Real Animator training has no personality because we're just teaching a standard front walk, but if you want to have these heavy downs, you need to think about the knee giving perspective. It's going to be coming out and it's going to be coming in. okay, and then even if we're a little bit wide on there like that, okay, we're going to be thinking. And then this is a down pose, okay. So with the down pose, this hip is going to be up here like this. So the pelvis is going to be up here. It's going to be rotating, and it's going to be back because we're switching off this leg, okay. So the pelvis is going to be bent like this, and then this is going to be here. So it's kind of lacking. You're hitting all the poses, but it's a little clunky, Maharashi, because it's kind of lacking those things. So then if this is this way, then this is going to be wanting this to go this way. So what we're happening is then I've gone and changed, done the same arm, same leg. So that's my bad. So as I'm going here, I'm going to turn this torque and twist of the pelvis here. So I guess I was trying to lock those shapes. But we can do it on this side, okay? We can lock the arm, okay, with this, okay? So what we want to have is we have this coming this way like this, and this will be coming back like that. That's a little bit feminine, okay? If we don't want that, okay? Remember, I've just drawn this, so I need to put on my tough guy. So then we can keep that in line with this, okay? We don't want it out. It's kind of, unless it adds, it depends what you're trying to do with the walk. It all adds character. But if you want him to kind of like just play it safe, then the head can turn. Okay, so this is this. Then we can turn the head like this. Okay, then just to be a little bit like let's be a little bit flamboyant. Let's see what we can get out of the silhouette. Okay, so out of the silhouette we got this. So you see how you see what a little bit of anatomy does to you. You can really, and we can kind of change those things. You can really start see if we get it in the silhouette, then we know that we got something. Okay. Let's put that neck. See that neck line? Sternocleido comes in the middle. Hair like this. Clavicles. Deltoids. This thing all coming here. Pelvis. Pelvis rotation. Okay. Abductors. Abductors. Okay. Knees. You see. Oh, see, mylohyoid, mandible, okay, this zygomatic, okay, there we go. So you see we've got a pretty almost kind of live action-y kind of anatomical proportioned guy walking purely from just understanding, and all the torque, all the balance, everything is in there. So hopefully you can understand. I'm not trying to sell you real animator training. I believe you're a professional, Maharashi. I think it was you who said that you got your first job through just even watching my YouTube stuff, and you very sweetly wanted to send me your first paycheck, and I said no. So I could be wrong. But I remember that. I think it was you. So I'm not at all trying to sell you training library, but what I'm trying to say is the important thing about understanding what we try to do in the training library walks is we really try to get the figure of 8 in the front steps. Okay, so everything moves in a figure of 8. So this pelvis would then rise up in a figure of 8 this way, and then come around here, and then come back down, and then rise up in a figure of 8. Okay, that's the way the pelvis will be going, and that's how we'll get a nice arc on that front walk. So what I can see of this front walk is he's just kind of going through the poses, but it's lacking the figure of 8. It's just you're having some nice arcing going like this way to this way. But again, if it was a cartoon character, if it was like a more cartoony character, you'd be able to get away with stuff like that. But if you're working with this humanoid shape, it does feel a little off like that. So hopefully I've given you something to think about there. Let's have a look at this other one here. Yeah, again, Maharashi. I've got a video. No, I think I had a channel culling. Again, if you want to hear, you want to think about the main arc rather than the fingers. You want to think about the main arc rather than the fingers. So again, if you're going to think about that, you're going to think about I'll just make up my own kind of thing. So I'm going to think about this shape simplification stuff. Okay, so then I'm going to bring this, we're going to arc this hair like this. Okay, so then let's bring this maybe hair like this. Okay, I'm thinking about this. So I'm thinking about thumb pressing finger, other knuckles. Okay, and then let's finally open the hand out. So even when I'm opening the hand out, I'm thinking this. Okay, and then let's settle the hand. Okay, so you see hands are super easy actually when you think of them like this. Okay, because that would be the animation. It would follow this arc. Okay, so you gesture down, then you'd come back up. Okay, but you want to think of it, and I'm just going to leave it at this one, Maharashi, because my throat's getting a bit dry. So if we think of it like this, okay, so we think, okay, these fingers are going to be in here like this. Okay, so we've got the fingers in here like this. Okay, so we start off like this. So you see how we're following that silhouette there. Then we think about, okay, so we're now introducing the finger pressing the thumb. Okay, so we're going to have this, and then we're going to have maybe these two together here like this, these ones round here like this, and then this little one we maybe curl inwards and bring here like this. Yeah, so I'm thinking, not definite, thinking about these silhouette shape. Then the thumb will be pressing against it like this. So then we bring in this, then we bring in this. Okay, I think that breaks the shape too much. I don't like it. Let's keep it simple. Let's not try and be too flash. So let's bring that in there like that. Bring that there like that. Okay, so we got that. Okay, so you see how it goes in there like this, then we're pressing against this, we're pressing against this. Now we're just going to simply open the hand. Okay, so we're going to open the hand. Let's just put some knuckles in there to find where we're going. So we're going to open that hand like this, splay it. Okay, so we're going to splay it like this. Okay, let's open the finger. Okay, so the saddle joint will be back here. Let's bring that thumb back, make it more interesting like this. Okay, then we want to come up here for finally to seal the deal. Okay, so we're going to bring these two in here like this. Let's just bring this one like here, knuckle here, then this one. So a little bit going from my thing, away from my thing, but hopefully you can see, okay, just where that all comes in. So here we have a series of hands. Okay, they're gonna enable you to understand. Okay, then here obviously the sleeve would come back, then here the sleeve would settle, so you can see the arcing shapes. Okay, then this sleeve, okay, this sleeve would be neutral, then this sleeve would be a little bit like coming, actually this would be coming up, wouldn't it? Yeah, as I'm going backwards. Yeah, so you see this thing, so that kind of goes in with the arc. So you see, hopefully you can see that the shape, the whole shape business happening there. Hopefully that's helpful for you. So yeah, I think that was a good one to kind of settle in on that. But yeah, if you want to join this group, AMB Real Animator Growth, Development and Progress, just go to Facebook and sign up. It is absolutely free, and you get 9 free lectures from the Real Animator Training Library in there. And you can see, I was talking about the foot earlier. I mentioned this other Roger Wade here. He's not a library member. He's just following these free videos. But you see, there's loads of value in these videos because he's just done this from the free video. And he's learned all about how to draw the bones of the foot. And I can guarantee that his understanding of drawing feet are going to be so much better. So, who's this? Somebody wants to join it. Yes, let's welcome this person in. Approve, welcome, approve, welcome. Okay, right, let's turn that off. Please don't ban me for sharing these books. Okay. I'm still working on my anatomy, but I'll get there. Gonna join the library soon. Only if you want to, Maharashi. Only if you want to. It's my pleasure always having you on my streams. I'll help you either way. Dwayne Stafford Dale has gone. My pleasure. I felt negativity is similar to a cloud that looms over you. In whichever case, getting out of my head helps something. Absolutely. I found getting the extended bottom and the belly hard to draw from all angles. Well, you did a pretty good job with that first one, Deruji. 69th person watching. Thank you so much. We've dropped down to 60, but you know what? I don't really count anymore. It really doesn't matter. If I can help, if I get through to even just one person and make one person a vastly superior draftsman or animator, then it would have well been worth it. Okay? So, okay, I've really enjoyed today's stream. I had a lot of fun. I love doing this kind of drawing. Takes me back. Even though I've got my own project going, it's not humans. But I love this kind of classic Disney-inspired drawing. It's where my heart is. So it's been an absolute pleasure doing today's stream. Thank you so much. I will see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.